Hey guys, welcome back to the video, and today we're gonna look at 20 amazing maps for Meccha Chameleon from the Steam Workshop. In this video, I'll show you some of the maps that I played and I really enjoyed, and that I think that can make a really fun play with your friend. And the first amazing map is the Ocarina of Time Kakariko Village. This adds the whole village to Meccha Chameleon from Ocarina of Time of the 3DS, and it has a ton of the NPC from the game that are not normally present, and also has some song that goes depending on which area you are. So you may recognize some NPCs and some areas. The map is pretty big, so I would recommend at least 4 player. It does not include Death Mountain Trails or the graveyard, only the village of Kakariko. And the next amazing map is from the same creator that made the Kakariko Village. This is the Kokiri Forest. So this includes all of the starting area of the Kokiri Forest. You cannot go outside and you can't go to the Deku Tree. But this has, again, plenty of spots to hide. And same for the Kakariko Village, I would recommend at least 4 players. And the next amazing map is a very popular one called the Art Gallery. This pretty big map has a lot of well-known art from a lot of painters, and you can go and hide in one of these paintings. You can hide everywhere, but these red line, the hunter will not be able to cross, so they can't look at you from an angle, they have to look from front. It has multiple sections from multiple styles and multiple period of time. So it is a great map to test your skill, to try to blend in with a complicated image. But be careful as a hider, because after 30 seconds, you can't go in the painting. You have a 30-second before the line becomes a physical barrier, and you need to stay where you are. So make sure you pick a spot before the time runs out. And the next amazing map is the Peak Airport, the lobby of Peak. It is a 1-to-1 recreation with a bit more liberty on the props to have more place to hide. But it is a really great map for a small amount of player, as it is not that big. There's also a few hidden streamers scattered here and there on the map. Can you find them all? And this map really fits well with the vibe of the game already. And the next amazing map is Tanglewood from Phasmophobia. This is the old Phasmo before it got reworked, and I mean the rework from a few years ago. The door here is not at the right place as it was, but it is the full house as well as downstairs, so you have plenty of places to hide. The only downside is that you are still pretty big even as the smallest size, so you better find some good spot to hide to not get found. And this is also a throwback to a long time gone of the previous van before they remodeled the whole interior. And the next amazing map is the Mystery Shack from Gravity Fall. This is a pretty good representation of the house from the show. You cannot go outside of the border. There's a nice Bill Cipher looking at us, and the inside has multiple rooms that you might recognize from the show, as well as all the props that you can use to hide. And the next amazing map is the Majora's Mask Clock Town, and we're gonna look at it through the menu here, because as a host you can choose which area you want to unlock, as this map is actually really massive, so they even recommend the number of player per active parts. So this is Clock Town in its entirety, and you can technically just shut down these gates here that prevents player from exploring these area. But this is a very well-made map by the same creator of the Kakariko Village and the Kokiri Forest. And just walking in here just fills me with nostalgia. They even went and made the Fairy Fountain. And the next amazing map is the Simpsons house. This is a pretty hard to hide house, but fun to search, as all the colors are plains, but there is so many nooks and crannies you can find to try to hide in this house. Everyone knows the Simpsons house, so it's a pretty familiar place to hide and search in. And since it's all plain color, this really forces you to think outside the box on where to hide in this house. And the next amazing map is the Minecraft Stronghold. This is a relatively small stronghold for Minecraft, but a pretty big map for Meccha Chameleon, as this has a few corridors and a full-size library to hide in. I recommend maybe that you use the square avatar and not the circle one, as it's better to blend with the sharp corner of the blocks and the texture. But it's a pretty fun map to hide in and try to match the colors of the Minecraft textures. And the next amazing map is the Meccha Museum, and I think it's one of those maps that almost feel vanilla and something that could be already in the game. This is a very well-made map with a lot of props, a lot of scenes, different area. But at the same time, that is not too big. Everything is centered, connected with the staircase here. So you can easily access all the sides of the map, and there's plenty of props and pictures for you to hide in and try to blend. And the next amazing map is the Lijiang Tower from Overwatch. This only has the shuttle and the first area with the market, and to be frank, it is more than enough as this place has a lot of nooks and crannies, but it's very fun to see a map from Overwatch in this game. And now with the new emissive slider, you can easily cosplay as a lamp, as long as you get the right color. Sometimes it's hard on modded maps, and that's a thing that we need to adjust, but it is pretty cool nonetheless. And the next amazing map is the Comet Observatory from Mario Galaxy. This adds the whole observatory to the game, and again, this really triggers a nostalgia for me, as I played the heck out of this game when I was young. You cannot go inside the loading zone, but there is plenty enough space to hide, and I just noticed that these teleporters actually works for teleporting you around. If you fall in the void, you respawn back at the spawn. There's no death or no out of bound. And the next amazing map is the Modern Warfare 2 Terminal map. Unfortunately, it only contains the inside of the map, or else this would be absolutely gigantic. But this map is a faithful recreation of the Call of Duty multiplayer map, which is, again, another bit of nostalgia. It even contains a corridor here to go in the shop and inside the mall. This is already a pretty massive map, so I suggest at least 6 player unless you restrict the first area only, or else people will search forever. The infection mode, now called the increasing tag, is also a good way to get rid of the waiting time for the players that are killed early on. The next amazing map is a unique map called Swimming Pool. And it basically adds a swimming pool with a lot of detail, and once again, it is a map that could be made in vanilla and no one would notice, except maybe for the towel of South Park. This map has 2 floors, and most of the props really fits into the game, giving you plenty of space to hide, as well as not being too big. It is relatively small, so it's a really good map for not a lot of players. The next amazing map is the Board Game Backroom. This map contains a lot of board games that you already know or you don't know, as well as some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And although it doesn't seem big, there is so much stuff to hide in this place. Lots and lots of props and little hidey hole and place you can hide. So it is a really nice map for some board game enthusiasts. The next amazing map is Bikini Bottom from SpongeBob SquarePants. This has most of the known building from SpongeBob bunched up together in a single cohesive map, so you can hide in the Krusty Krab, the Chum Bucket, SpongeBob's house, as well as Patrick and Squidward, and a bunch of other props you can find in SpongeBob. It is a relatively big map, so I suggest at least 4 or 5 player and above, but it's really fun to run around in this place. Reminds me of the old game from SpongeBob. The next amazing map is called Viking Dining, and this has a nice Viking longhouse. It is a giant dining hall, but not only that, there is an outside area which is also pretty substantial. You can hide in hay bales and pots and carts and everywhere around the map. It is also pretty big. So one thing I do with my friend is we only restrict the interior area if there's not a lot of players. Otherwise, it's a very well-made map that once again fits well into the game. And the next amazing map is the Luigi's Mansion from the first Luigi's Mansion. It is a really good recreation of the map. It contains only a few rooms, like this hall area, and some room in the corridors downstairs. Most of the area is blocked for a good reason, as this map is already pretty massive. Having the whole mansion would be completely insane. Remember catching boos in this room. Again, I feel like this video is just a big nostalgia trip through the maps. But this room is also very dark, so it's a good place to hide. But now that the hunter have flashlights, be careful with that. The next amazing map is the Mechanic Station from Repo. This is a collection of a few tiles from the Mechanic Station in Repo, bunched together just like a normal map you would find on level 1. It only has a few rooms, as well as some gnomes, and overall it really fits well in the theme of the game. Having played a lot of Repo, I know pretty much all these tiles by heart. Once you learn how to traverse the map, it is a very fun map to hide in and search in. The truck is also fully modeled, so you could also hide inside the truck or under the cart. There's a lot of possibilities in here. And finally, the last amazing map is the Manor from Lethal Company. And as you can see, there is a filter, and that comes with the map. This is not something I enabled in the menu. It's to emulate the weird shading effect of Lethal Company, so everything is a bit more pixelated, so it can become very difficult to search inside of these maps, especially with the amount of ducks that you can find. A lot of shelves and a lot of nook and crannies. But overall, it's a very fun map, a lot of props that you can try to imitate, and with the shaders, it's a bit easier to hide in plain sight. So this was 10 amazing maps for Meccha Chameleon. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do more of these, so I can explore less popular maps and see if there's some hidden gems among the mods. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.